welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with another baking video for you all. So we're going classic today. We're going coffee and walnut cake. Not quite a Mary Berry recipe today, but on sort of the same level. Like, we do hold her in high regard. This is a Delia Smith recipe. Yeah, I've got her book just here. We're going to be doing this Delia recipe today. I made this cake last week actually for VE Day celebrations, and it went down a right treat. I was quite chuffed with myself, I won't lie. And I had a few messages, I know this is what everyone says, but I had a few messages being like, Amy, did you film it? And I was like, oh no, I didn't, sorry. So I'm filming it today. So the first thing we need to do is line our cake tin. So I've just got I don't know how many centimetres. I think it's probably about 20 centimetres? Okay, I'm not quite sure, but doesn't really matter. Don't use too big a one, and it's one where, you know, you can do that. So, what I've done is, it's really important to line it. I drew a circle around some greaseproof paper, so I've got a bit that will cover that. And I also measured out a strip like this, in which I've cut the edges. Can you see this down here? I've sort of made a cut so that it will follow the shape of my tin. So I'm just going to take a bit of butter and lightly grease the inside so that the baking parchment will stick. I'm just using a bit of offcut of baking parchment so I don't get really greasy, grotty hands from butter. I hope everyone is doing okay. While I'm doing this, I'll talk you through the ingredients you need. So it's a basic sponge recipe, similar to that I showed in my last video, but with the addition of some baking powder for extra rise, and then also you need some walnuts. I've just got walnut pieces that I'm going to chop up, and some instant coffee. So in here I've got 1 tablespoon of instant coffee mixed with 2 teaspoons of hot water, and that's just been dissolving away as I've been setting up. So I'm going to put the bottom back into the tin, and I'm going to take my strip and just begin to sort of bring it around the edge of my cake tin. And because you've got that bit at the bottom that you've cut, it slots in brilliantly. And I'm just going to put the circular insert in there. So now I've got a lovely lined tin, and we can get on with the baking. So the first step is to combine the butter and sugar in a mixing bowl. So I've used half margarine, half unsalted. So I've used half margarine, half unsalted butter today. In total I've got 110 grams in here. So let's just add that to our mixing bowl. And next up I'm going to weigh 110 grams of caster sugar. So we've got the slightly temperamental scales again, but that's not a problem. Oh, I can really smell the coffee in that, and also I've got some butter icing left over from the last time I made this cake, and I froze it because I didn't want it to go to waste. And now it's starting to defrost. I can really smell the coffee, and it's lovely. So here we are, 110 grams of sugar. And now I'm just going to use my electric hand whisk to bring those together. So I'm just going to use my spatula to collect all the bits that I've got up the side to make sure that the mixture is fully combined. The last time I made this, which was a week ago for VE Day, was actually the first time I'd ever made a coffee and walnut cake, because I never used to like coffee, and then I got into coffee, and then I got into coffee cake, but I've never made one myself, and I don't know what it was. I was just craving one. I was like, oh my gosh, I just really want a coffee and walnut cake. Someone's phone's ringing, it's not mine, but I'll get back to mixing. So the butter and sugar's combined, it's lovely and pale and fluffy. And next up we're going to add the flour. So I've got self-raising flour today, as is normal for a sponge. And we need 110 grams of that. Oops. Okay, so I went slightly over. Not to worry. There we go, 110. And so I'm going to add that straight into my main mixing bowl. Next up, I'm going to add in 2 eggs. I wish I could do this like Paul Hollywood does in Bake Off. I don't know if you've ever noticed, he does this thing and he does it one-handed, so he goes like, but I'm not quite at that level yet. But you know, maybe that'll be the end of quarantine goal. Okay, next up to my bowl, this one. Whoa. I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. This is just going to help give it that bit extra rise, because the more ingredients you add to a basic sponge recipe, the harder it is for the cake to rise. 1 teaspoon of this. There we go. And I'm going to mix all of that together. I've not been up to much this week. I have been doing a lot of baking. What's new? I've made vegan meringues, which were more successful than last time. Remember in the last video I said they completely disintegrated. They actually did work this time. Maybe I can insert a funny clip of me trying to work out if I'd beaten the chickpea water enough. I'll put that in now. So yeah, they were good. My mum was not a huge fan, but she did just try it on its own, and the vegan meringues, if you just try them on their own, they do taste a bit weird, because I mean it's chickpea water at the end of the day. And so you do need to sort of accessorise the meringue, so I had like my berries and my cream with it, but it was quite good. The day before yesterday I made iced buns. Like, I feel like they're such a classic. I made some of those. My icing was a bit too runny, so it was more of a glaze, but again, they were really good, so I was quite impressed with those. Right, now I've started to combine these, I'm going to use my hand mixer to finish off. So in my bowl now, I have my butter, sugar, self-raising flour and 2 eggs, and then a teaspoon of baking powder. Now's the part we actually make it a coffee and walnut cake. Also, I forgot to mention to preheat your oven at the start to 170 degrees C. Cool. So yeah, as I say, in here I've got 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. I literally just used, you know, this one that I'm sure you've all seen in the shops. Oh no. You have 1 tablespoon of this, 2 teaspoons of hot water. Don't worry, I'll put all the instructions in the description box in case I inspire you to give it a go. So we're going to add the coffee to the mix. I realised as well I didn't even put an apron on today. So I'm going to start combining it with a spoon just so the coffee does not sort of go all over me. This is a dress that I bought from Zara, I think it was last year, and I remember at the time being like, oh, it's a bit pricey, oh, shall I buy it? And oh my gosh, it was one of the best purchases I ever made, because if you know me, you know I wear it a lot. Right, just gonna finish off. Now I've added the coffee, so you can see, let me show you. My sponge has gone a bit darker now. I'm just gonna give that one final mix up with the electric whisk. So the last step in the cake part of this, I'll do I'll ice it and all that with you as well, is to add the walnuts. So you need 50 grams of walnuts. I've just got these ones from good old Tesco's. You want to chop these fairly small, but not to like dust. I'll show you when I decorate. I like to almost cut them so tiny that you make sort of powder, and I sort of sprinkle it on the icing. But in the cake, I do like to have a bit of crunch and a bit of texture from the walnuts. So let's first of all measure out 50 grams. 55, that's fine. No one's going to complain about a few extra walnuts in their cake, are they? So, oh dear, this is all a bit of a mess, Amy. Oh dear. So here are my walnuts, and I'm just going to start chopping those a little bit to add into my cake mixture. The sunshine has finally returned. We had a few days of really gloomy weather. Wasn't a fan of that, but now the sun's back, that's all good. I submitted my proposal yesterday. Woo! So this is the last of the chopped walnuts going into my mixing bowl, and I'm just going to use a wooden spoon to combine them into the mixture. So there they are. Let's just bring that together. As I said, your oven should be at 170. I mean, Delia's book actually doesn't specify the difference between a fan oven and a normal oven. I don't know if they had fan ovens whenever that book was written. So mine's quite a powerful oven, so I've actually put it at 165, but I did that last time and it worked fine. And you're going to bake this for about 40 minutes. So there we go, all the walnuts are combined. looks good, smells brilliant, if I may say so. And I'm going to add my mixture to my lovely lined tin. I do pride myself actually on lining a tin well. Now, do I? No. I'm going to have to spoon it in because I'm not quite strong enough, or I don't quite have big enough hands to lift the bowl. So I'm just going to spoon my mixture in, and I never show it on camera because I'm #professional. But of course I do always lick the bowl and lick the mixers afterwards, because that is one of the highlights of baking. I think you'd all agree with me on that. Right, I've got all the mixture out of the bowl, and I'm just going to ease the cake mixture to the edges of the tin. Make sure it's all smoothed down. Hi guys, I've got my cake. Well, it's not cooked yet, obviously. I've got the cake batter, I guess I should say. And I'm going to take it over to the oven and pop it in there for 40 minutes. In we go. I'll check in with you in 40 minutes when hopefully this will be done, and then I'll ice it with you all later. Bye guys. Hi guys, so the timer's just gone off on the oven, so let's take a little look at the cake and see how it's doing. That's looking quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. Let me just pop it on my cooling rack. So I'm going to do the skewer test to check that the inside is cooked. That's perfect. The skewer's coming out clean and it's got a slight bounce to it. So I'm going to leave this to cool for the next half an hour or so, and then I'll come back in a bit and ice it with you guys. Hi guys, welcome back. My cake's been cooling for 1 hour now, so it's time to decorate it. So I've sliced it in half, not brilliantly, I'll admit, but you know, that just makes it rustic, which is fine. Now I've actually got my buttercream pre-made, because this is the same buttercream I used last week. I made way too much. So I've actually had it in the freezer for the past week. That's a good tip actually. If you make too much buttercream ever, put it in the freezer, it's completely fine. Just let it defrost naturally at room temperature, and then it stops it going to waste. But I'll tell you what's in here. I've just got my laptop here so I can check. So there was 250 grams of butter, just like unsalted butter, 500 grams of icing sugar, vanilla extract, and then this time I needed 3 tablespoons of coffee granules mixed with 1.5 tablespoons of boiling water. But I'll put all that in the description box. And yeah, here it is. Hopefully I'll have enough. So I've roughly iced the middle. It's not the neatest, unfortunately, but it will taste great. So I filled the middle of the cake with the buttercream, and now it's time to use the rest to ice the top of the cake. I like to use my palette knife, dollop it on, and just start spreading it across the top of the cake. So you can see I'm just slowly covering, oh my gosh, the cake nearly slid off the plate there, oh heavens. I'm just covering the cake bit by bit, and then I've got some walnut decoration to put on top. So my cake's all decorated. There we go. I mean iced, it's not decorated yet. That would be very poor decoration. And I've just chopped up some different sized walnuts here. So I'm going to start by doing sort of a north, east, south and west with the whole walnuts. There you can see I've just done 4. And then I've halved 4 other walnuts. So I'm sort of making, I guess, like doing numbers on a clock almost. You can see I've now got sort of a clock face of walnuts. Now I've roughly chopped some that I'm going to put in sort of a cluster in the middle. That looks quite nice, I think. And lastly, I've very finely chopped some to almost make a dust. And I'm just going to go in a little circle between where I've done the cluster and the sort of clock face numbers. I'm going to do a little circle of the dust. So this is much more finely chopped. So I've got the main walnuts around the edge, the roughly chopped ones in the centre, and the very finely ones in a little circle around that. So there we go, that is my coffee and walnut cake. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said, I'll put the recipe in the description box below, so you can give it a go. And so I hope if you have a go at making it, that it goes well. And happy baking, everyone. Stay safe in lockdown. And yeah, give our little video a thumbs up. Why not? Bye, guys.